Welcome in. Welcome in. It's the Second Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and a champion has been crowned. A day of storylines, a day of bogeys, some might say, a day for fathers. Happy Father's Day, Greg DuCharme.
Oh, well, thank you, Rick. Great to be here. What a day. What a week it was. I mean, I don't know where to start, Rick. This was insane from start to finish. And hey, if you like carnage, well, you got what you asked for this week.
I also don't know where to start. There are so many directions that we could go in. Let me zoom out for 1 second. One golfer, the eventual champion, ends up under par. A day that featured an hour and 40-minute rain delay that did not stop the precipitation from coming through, because they ended up playing through it even after resumption of play. And like you said, Greg, there were not a lot of great shots and there were not a lot of great scores to be had.
No, there were just enough to crown a champion and a worthy champion and make this a memorable tournament. But for a long time, this was just looking like, who's gonna get there for, who's going to be the last man standing. That's really what it seemed like. So this was mayhem. And it really, I think all week, Oakmont, it changed a lot. We saw really until today kind of benign weather conditions. These benign weather conditions would normally lead to really low scores, and they just didn't. And I can't imagine there's a harder golf course in the world. For this place to play the way it did with no weather and receptive greens.
Yeah,
it just was shocking to me how hard that place was. You throw in the rain like we had today. You throw in mud. I guess it wasn't mud. I mean, soaking wet fairways and soaking wet rough. And it was just brutal all the way around.
Well, it's time. I'm ready to unveil the champion. If you don't want to be spoiled, you probably already have been, because it's probably in the title. It's probably in the thumbnail. You've probably already been spoiled to this point, but I will just say it now. The winner of the 2025 United States Open Championship is J.J. Spaun. A week, Greg, where he was the first round leader, bogey-free 66, rounds of 72 and 69 before, how about this? A 5x5, 5 5s in a row to start his day. He goes out in 40. There's no way a guy goes out in 40 on a Sunday of a major championship and wins it.
It's the first time somebody has gone out in 40 or more in the final round since Francis Ouimet.
Ah, yes.
That Dan Hicks shared that on the broadcast. So it's very unlikely. I mean, my friends and I were texting, do you think you could start with 5 straight 5s at Oakmont? It's like, if I knew that was the goal, probably. I think as long as it's not my first time seeing the place, I think like that's somewhat doable. Maybe I'm way off, because the way he played after the rain delay was just incredible. But what I can't get over, Rick, is how many bad breaks he got.
Yeah,
like these 5s aren't all from bad shots. He drew his third shot on 1 was a horrible lie. He barely got it out of the rough. It somehow gets on the green.
Yes.
At 2, he dings it off the flagstick.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been close. It hits the flagstick, comes all the way off the green, makes a 5 there. It was just brutal. I mean, he did hit his fair share of errant shots. The driver was not there. He was clearly very uncomfortable. But I don't think the rain delay helped anyone as much as it helped J.J. Spaun.
Post rain delay really seemed to be settled. We had talked about this all week long. He was fairways and greens. He was keeping it in front of him. He was doing a really good job of staying in his own skin. And like you said, uncomfortable out of the gate. Some bad shots, some okay shots. All of them were punished. All of them. It was just bad luck, bad shots. That didn't matter what it was. And then he gets to the back 9, and you start to see what got him to this point. He makes a birdie on 12. He makes a birdie on 14. He puts a bogey on the card at 15, and now he's in the heat of it, Greg. This is the moment where, my God, there's 6 or 7 guys who are all hanging around that even par to 2 over. Everybody's going in the wrong direction. Someone has to step up and win this golf tournament. It's time for JJ Spaun to step up.
Yeah, and what does it take? You mentioned those birdies, but it's a 40-footer at number 12. It's a 22-footer at number 14. And then, up until the very end, the signature shot of the tournament is his tee shot at 17. I mean, this thing was just a seed. He hits it up there to 17 feet. It was an incredible tee shot. And that's what, like you mentioned, that's what got him into this place. And then at 14, there must have been a little wind going to the right, because a lot of guys coming through there were hitting tee shots that looked pretty good, little start left, little fades that just kept getting right and right and right and end up dead in the rough, ended up being pitch outs. JJ Spaun splits the middle of the fairway, kind of an iconic tee shot. It didn't quite have the distance of Dustin Johnson or Angel Cabrera, but it certainly had that shot shape and that accuracy. And then the putt, my goodness, what a break to get Hovland to hit it right behind his ball.
How much would JJ Spaun have paid for Viktor Hovland to hit it to 65 feet, 1 foot farther than JJ, and he got the read for free? I think he owes at least dinner for that read.
Yeah, maybe a nice bottle of wine or something like that. I might send him the bottle of wine. I might send Victor the bottle that Mark owes me.
That's right.
I'll just forward that right off to Viktor Hovland. That was just a remarkable break. And now the good news is he only needed 2 putts.
Yes.
But to get a sense of that speed, how easy would that be from 65 feet to hit it up there to, 8 feet, 5 feet, a very missable putt with all that was on the line. And it goes in the bottom. Just sensational.
Yeah, 64 feet, the longest putt made of the week by any golfer. Also, if you are a par truther, does get JJ Spaun under par, the only man 1 under. The over 278.5 for the winning score still was the side to be on. But I like this, Greg. They say if you can shoot under par at a US Open, you should win it. Right. And there it is. The one guy with red in red figures is the guy going home with the medal and the trophy.
Yes. I mean, it was looking today like Oakmont was going to win this US Open. And maybe just get the trophy and the winner's check because nobody was able to break par, but JJ Spaun did. Look, it's an extremely difficult thing to do. Everybody. I mean, we're going to go through some of these other players that didn't get the job done. And one thing that happens is there's a lot of shots that miss fairways that you're not able to advance to the green, right? It's extremely penal. That happened very few times to JJ Spaun this week. But that's not really the end all be all, because some guys were able to overcome that. Around the greens were just punishing. And JJ Spaun, his putt in was phenomenal. Just 2-3 putts on the week, which, believe it or not, was pretty darn good. I mean, there were some guys with a lot of 3 putts this week, and he managed those greens better than anybody else.
Yeah, JJ Spaun had his 2 girls on the green afterwards. Great. Happy Father's Day to those guys. We've got everybody in the chat. Joseph's here, Ryan's here, Paul's here. I don't know if you guys are fathers. Happy Father's Day. I'm sure my father-in-law Saeed is watching. Happy Father's Day. I'm sure he tunes in every second cut. I can only imagine. But Greg, let's talk about this Ryder Cup opportunity here. So JJ Spaun, I'll share my screen for you, pal. JJ Spaun. Hold on. Mina usually does the hard work for me here. Here we go.
Yeah. All right.
Entered the week 13th in the Ryder Cup standings. That he is going to shoot up that list. Has JJ Spaun just played himself into the Ryder Cup?
Without question.
Yeah.
Lock. Surefire lock. Think about what he did at the Players Championship, right? Through the first 4 days, he's tied for the lead with only Rory McIlroy and had a very good chance to win it on Sunday. That one doesn't go in. And then to come out here and win the U.S. Open and battle this test, if you didn't think that Bethpage was something he could handle, well, I think he can handle any golf course in the world if he can handle Oakmont. And he did. So he's an absolute lock on this team. And he'll pair nicely with everybody because he's a guy that keeps the ball in front of him. He's got a putter that can get very hot for everybody that wants, Denny McCarthy on the team, who's been more clutch with the flat stick than JJ Spaun, especially after seeing this. So, yeah, he has earned his way onto this team. And there's a perception that he's kind of I don't know how to say it best. I don't want to say a no-name. Maybe it is kind of like a no-name, right? He's like a creative player. A lot of people feel.
Oh, are you one of those people, Greg?
Not at all. So I think he's a lock on this team. Like his performance is, he was 16th in strokes gained total coming into this week on the PGA Tour, right? Top 16 of everybody on the PGA Tour. That deserves a look in itself. Now you add a major championship to it. It's big time stuff. And Keegan Bradley was out there playing this week. He knows what JJ Spaun went through. There's no doubt he's writing his name in pen.
Your 2025 major champions, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, JJ Spaun. Welcome to the club. He now has as many major victories as he does PGA Tour victories. And I think that's pretty cool. Who has the most PGA Tour wins but has more majors? Is it Brooks?
Well, I think Angel Cabrera has one PGA Tour event.
Oh, wow.
And 2 majors.
Okay.
Brooks has some PGA Tour wins.
He might have more PGA Tour wins at this point.
Yeah. He picked up a few. But there was a while where they were like, I think it's like 8 wins and 5 of them are PGA majors.
Yeah, 9 and 5.
Yep. 9 and 5. Okay. Padraig Harrington doesn't have that many. He's got some European Tour wins. Matt Fitzpatrick has 1 and 1.
Okay.
2 total.
Look at you just rattling I wasn't expecting you to just rattle them off like this.
I think about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you have a problem.
Yeah, maybe, but it comes in handy right now.
It comes in handy a lot on this show for sure.
Yeah, we're the nerdy guys.
Yeah, it's perfect for this show. The eventual runner-up is probably not the man that a lot of people thought of all week long and even at points on Sunday, but there were not many under par rounds at Oakmont today. One of them was from Robert McIntyre, who first off, Greg, went 69-68 on the weekend. Pure filth. The last bogey he made was on the 6th hole. He birdied 9, 14, and 17. I was almost sure he was a lock for a playoff when JJ Spaun was on 16-ish, right? And still had to play the par 3 and then still had to play 18. I'm thinking, all right, we might be headed towards a playoff if Robert McIntyre doesn't win this thing outright, because he posted and knocked out Scotty Scheffler, knocked out John Rahm, eliminated a lot of guys.
Yeah. And this is kind of a funny thing. My wife complains about this in golf broadcasts all the time. They only show so many guys, and then all of a sudden somebody wins and you didn't see them all day.
Okay, welcome to the club. Yeah, we all hate that.
Yeah. So she's always complaining.
She's 100% correct.
Yeah, like, look, you can't show every shot. Anyway, this was a Robert McIntyre situation. Like, where I was looking through this round, and there were a couple, because I thought he was going to win, like you. I was like, he's going to win outright. I'm not even sure there will be a playoff.
Yeah.
This is before JJ Spaun hit the shot on 17. So now I'm like, all right, well, Robert McIntyre had a couple signature moments too, which are required here. He makes a 58-foot eagle putt at number 4. That's huge. On 9, he hit a shot so far left. I don't even know where it was. I don't know where it was, but all of a sudden he hit it from there. It must have been in like a walk path where he got a lie, because it just said, what does the shot link say? I always like these things. They remind me of your 300 yards to unknown.
Yeah.
This was tee shot hit 318 yards, 166 from the hole. It didn't even say
where. Sometimes it'll pull out ones that I didn't even know existed, where it'll say like wall outline,
yes,
or something like that.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, wall outline. That's what we're doing
we got that loaded in there.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Sometimes I love reading it.
So this one, they don't know where it is. I don't either, because I didn't see it. Well, he hit it from there to 4 feet and made birdie. So there was not a lot of that at Oakmont. If you look through shot trails like I do religiously, you didn't see anybody from, off the beaten path hit it close. And I don't even, that might have been another fairway. Really, it might have been a different fairway. Anyway, that was huge. He hit a great tee shot on 17 as well, to the front of the green. That didn't get up. It didn't get on the green, but he hit it into the fairway and made an easy birdie from there. And then he striped it like a signature tee shot on 18 as well.
Yeah,
and was able to make par. This was really, really good stuff out of Robert McIntyre. One last thing on him,
sure,
which I was thinking about. Well, we did our major prediction show in January. I had, like Scotty, Robert McIntyre.
Yeah, for the Open, right?
The Open.
Yeah, he trending.
Almost wins this.
He's trending.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It might happen.
He's had a
Keep
taste
that
of
in mind.
He's had a taste of it now. Yeah. Listen, I always like when he gets into the mix. He's I find him to be a very kind of streaky type golfer who's fun to watch. And I appreciated that as he's in scoring, watching everything play out. He was very he was very happy for JJ Spaun in the win. It was like, hey man, you went out there, you beat me. It was cool to see. There was certainly no sour grapes.
No. And look, part of that is he was not really in the conversation and didn't think he really had a chance until he got, what did he say? He said the whole maybe 12 or something. He looked, he was like, wow, the leaders are at even, I got a chance. So he didn't really know he had a chance. And it wasn't a situation like Rory in the scoring last year where he just gave it away and then it's officially gone. He didn't give anything away, right? He put everything on the line. He left playing well.
Pretty good sportsmanship.
We should clip this as a GIF.
Wow.
The wow and the clapping. Do you also think? I also think that. So apparently he was told that they were going to go to a playoff on Monday morning, no matter what. So he's out of competitive mindset, right?
Right.
This is just like, okay, I can breathe. No matter what happens, I'm coming back tomorrow. So it's a lot easier to be. He is not still in. I might have to go beat the crap out of this guy.
How about that? Oh, that's pretty good. Wow. Incredible stuff. Right. Not in competitive mode. We'll see what happens. If I get a chance, like I said, probably didn't think he had much of a chance coming into today. Just wanted to put together a great round and see what happens. And that's what happened.
JJ Spaun, your 2025 U.S. Open champion, Robert McIntyre, has finished in solo second. I'm going to get to third and a couple other notables, but a lot of this storyline, Greg, runs through the final pairing, and they are not anywhere near this podium. I'm referring to Sam Burns. I'm referring to Adam Scott, who did not have themselves a very good day. For Burnsy, it was a 8 over 78 with a lot of red on the scorecard. I think we had to buy another subscription to Canva to be able to get all these squares on this thing. But there was a big moment at 15, which we'll talk about, but this was slipping away from Sam Burns for the entirety of the day.
He was slipping away, but he was he was hanging in there, right? He didn't hit a great tee shot at 2, doesn't hit a great tee shot at 5. These are all just like, remember all those chip outs that he had yesterday, right? This is what's happening again. So 2 he 3 putts after hitting it into the rough. I believe that was his first 3 putt of the week and only 3 putt of the week. Really impressive. Anyway, he hangs in there, gets a bad break like he has, or misses a fairway, I should say, and has to chip out at 5. That happened constantly. At 9, right after the rain delay, he hits it into the fescue and I hit what I thought was a great wedge. And I'm still thinking Sam Burns is going to get this done. Birdie at 10, even after 11, like they made a mess of 11, and it's bringing a lot of guys back into it. But he's still at even par. It's like he could still win this thing. And then it started to get away. 12 was really the first one where I said, okay, that was a bad shot. It was his 3rd shot. He was 125 yards in the fairway, short size himself. It leads to a bogey. I'm like, that's not good.
It's not good. And then 15 happened. So here's the thing at 15. And our very own Kyle Porter was on the scene in a very normal way. And this is what we found. Well, hold on. Let me set it up for you. Sam Burns hits a shot to the right side of the fairway. He calls for a rules official because he believes he is getting casual water relief. Gets a ruling that he does not agree with, calls for a secondary official who gives the same ruling. Now, Kyle went back to that spot right afterwards and put his little hokas in the ground and stomped around a little bit. And you can see that there is just a ton of water where Sam Burns hit from. Now, Greg, I don't know if this is a good rule or a bad rule, but the rule does not care where your ball is. The rule cares where your feet are. And in a secondary video, which I'll pull up in a second, apparently Sam Burns's feet were not in enough casual water. What did you think of all this?
Well, you know what I wondered? Anybody looking at that situation would say, yeah, like casual water. Did he have to call a rules official?
Oh, you think she should have just took it? Hey,
Adam, I got casual water here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a drop.
Yeah.
Right. You're not placing it. I just wonder if he could have done that. And if they went back to video review, I don't think they would have called a penalty on him. Because that's pretty soggy. Now, where his feet is a little less. There's definitely still some.
Hold on, let me see if I can get this in. I can't get it any bigger. So this is now Kyle's video where he goes. So you see, there's obviously like the ball is below his feet, right? So where his feet are, there's not nearly as much. Still, I think a pretty soggy spot, but not nearly as bad as where his golf ball is. But you're right. These guys are almost so afraid to do anything without a rules official that this is probably the one time he should have just done it. He should have just said, hey, I'm taking relief from this. Adam Scott, who had already taken relief a couple of times,
right,
would have been like, obviously.
I don't even need to take a look.
Right.
Like, take your relief. You're not going to a different surface. Right, you're going from the fairway to the fairway. You're not placing it. You're dropping it. It's like it just seems like you should have gotten relief there. I think that was a really bad call. There's so much water there, and it clearly bothered Sam because he hit it into a really bad spot from there.
I mean, he was cooked after that. He was already on the verge of being of ejecting, and when that went against him, he was cooked. It was over.
He was at 1 over at that point. So it's still a stretch for him to be able to win this championship. 16 had his lunch this week. He played that whole 4 over for the week. So that was just it was the end. And he had probably been through too much. Like I said, I thought after 11, I didn't think he had a terrible shot into 11. I still thought he had a chance and should still win. Then the bad shots started creeping in. And I can't imagine how frustrated he was. It actually raises. Well, let's talk about Adam Scott. Then I'll ask this question.
Okay. So Adam Scott, who was in the final group trying to break the record for longest time in between major championships, it would have been 12 years, actually does one shot worse than Sam Burns, a 9 over 79. And Greg, I could not pinpoint one thing that went wrong for Adam Scott. He made 0 putts, was in a bunch of horrible situations. It was just, it was actually a tough watch.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. Draws a terrible lie left of the green at number 1, and can barely get it into a spot he can putt from. So he makes bogey from there, misses a good look at 2 for birdie, and then it's a right miss at 3. It's another right miss at 8, which costs him a big right miss at 9 onto a muddy cart path. Maybe that's kind of where McIntyre was. He must have been somewhere.
No, McIntyre, I think, was in the next fairway over.
Oh,
I was just looking at it too. I think he was in the next fairway.
Okay.
But Adam Scott was definitely on the muddy cart path, and then he took relief from that, right? Into like an even more awkward spot. But it was grass.
Right. And I think he did that for his footing. Because I was watching guys go over to his ball on 9, and somebody was about to make a viral video going down and that stuff. They were sliding around like it was ice.
Could have been Kyle, but he was up with Sam Burns.
Right. Investigative journalism.
That's right.
As one of our commenters said. So look, there are a couple of tee shots he lost to the right. 12, he lost it to the right. I think he lost it to the right at 14, had to hack out. 16, he lost it well to the right and made double. 17, he lost it to the right, unable to make birdie. 18, lost it to the right, had to chip out. A lot of right tee shots for Adam Scott today. And when you're playing from the hay, and you lose your weapon, like he was second in strokes gained off the tee heading into the day, and lost strokes to the field. He only hit 7 of 14 fairways, and when he missed them, it wasn't in the intermediate cut. It was in the thick stuff.
It was. What did you think about, like, okay, so they had the hour and 40-minute rain delay, but then it was still raining a lot after that, and I think to the point where that course was borderline, in my opinion.
Yes. It was borderline. It was very soggy. Now, I understand why you'd play. I don't think they should have not played. Could they, in hindsight, have gone split tees and threesomes in the morning? Probably. You probably could have done that. I'm not sure how much confidence they had and when the rain was going to hit, but I do feel like if we had this weather forecast in a PGA Tour event, they would have gone split tees and threesomes, and they would have been done before all that happened.
And they would have been criticized for it, but it's a lose-lose situation, right? People hate when they move it up and go split tees, and they hate if they play through it, or they hate if it goes to a Monday. Yeah. There's no winning here. I thought there was a moment, and I don't know if this was on the main broadcast or if this was on the featured groups, but it was after the delay. Scotty Scheffler called for a rules official, and he was in a spot that he thought was really wet and nasty, and he called a rules official to see if they were going to blow the horn, because if they were imminently going to blow the horn, he wasn't going to hit the shot, which is the same tactic that Sam Burns perfected before before the delay. He just
On
was on
8.
the tee on 8 and he was addressing the golf ball and just stopped
Yeah.
and just went back underneath the umbrella and was like, I'm good. I'll wait. And waited about a minute and they blew the horn.
He made it look like, well, I was like, is he just getting the club face dry? Like maybe this is not going to be pouring. Maybe it's not going to be the biggest raindrops you've ever seen, like they were saying on the broadcast. But this was really, really bad weather at a bad time in the tournament. It just makes, when the misses are so penal anyway, it just becomes so difficult to navigate those kind of conditions. A ball squirting offline on most golf courses, you can recover. You just can't at Oakmont. It turns into a double penalty because then the rough is even thicker, nastier. I mean, we had soft greens this week, like receptive greens, and the winning score is 1 under by 2.
So I just thought it was very telling that the number 1 player in the world, after resumption, deemed the golf course to a point where they were imminently going to blow the horn. And
again,
and they didn't for the rest of the day, which is like an hour and a half. So I think that course was a lot wetter than even I saw on television.
They showed those 3D shots when you can, to clean your club, just drag it in the fairway.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is pretty wet.
Yeah, and we don't have to worry about
high stakes.
We don't have to worry about mud balls because it's actually water. It's just all water.
Right. It's too wet for that. And that's a difficult thing to handle as well. Wasn't there a video of like Bryson practicing with someone spritzing his golf ball out of tee?
Yeah.
Right.
There's been the spritzer, and there's also the guy that holds the umbrella while he putts.
Yes, in the wind.
To see how the wind affects his putts.
Yeah. So, look, the point is it affects the golf ball. Proof is by Bryson.
Did we get the item that you said I'll wait on until we talk about Adam Scott?
Oh, no. Okay. Thanks for reminding me.
Yes.
Would you rather be Adam Scott or Sam Burns? I mean, one's T12, one's T7. I don't care. One of those two in the final group or Cam Young.
Interesting. Do I turn into them or am I taking their result for the week?
Taking their result for the week. Cam Young's T4 play. I mean, he shot 69-70 over the weekend. Pretty darn good.
I think I'd rather be Sam Burns or Adam Scott. I think first off, none of those guys, none of the 3 won. And the scar tissue / experience that you will get from playing out of the final group is you just cannot replicate that any other way.
No, you can't. So Sam Burns, that's definitely advantageous. I don't know if it's advantageous for Adam Scott.
Yeah, because he probably feels like it was his last chance.
Yeah. So it hurts. If you're Adam Scott and you switched spots with Cam Young, you didn't get into the final group, you end up in tied 4th. Does it give you a little hope? Does it inspire you going forward anymore?
No. Actually, Adam Scott probably thinks that his week was a better result than Cam's week. Because Adam Scott can look at it and say, hey, I had to play the majority of my round in the worst of it. I got into the final group on Sunday and it didn't go my way. And I still didn't win. The difference in money, Adam Scott will never even notice the difference. And it's not like it's changing his status into anything. So I actually think Adam Scott, if offered, would not even take Cam Young's week.
Right. I think you're right. Would Robert McIntyre change it?
Would you take Robert McIntyre's week
instead of Cam Young?
Yes.
Same. I think so too.
Because that one is, you were the best player on the weekend by 2 strokes. And honestly, for a moment, you were like the favorite to win the golf tournament and somebody nipped you. That is a lot better than you were one of the favorites going into the day and you played like doo-doo.
I agree. Now, Viktor Hovland gets a little mix of both here.
Yes.
I think I would choose Hovland over Burns and Scott.
Yeah, because Viktor at least hit. We'll talk about Viktor. He at least hit some good shots and all that stuff. We'll talk about Viktor next. If you're watching on YouTube, we're potting through right now. This is our way to keep the podcast independent and still financially support it. There's a Patreon. We've got exclusive merch in there. You get discounts if you send in your golf swing. Greg will break it down on the podcast. We do a lot of different stuff like that. And I have another idea. I keep forgetting to mention this to Greg, but I have another idea to add more value to that Patreon that I think you guys are going to like. The link is in the description right now. If you don't want to support with your money, support with your likes, your subscriptions, your retweets, all that fun stuff that costs you nothing. Viktor Hovland is going to finish this major championship in a solo third position after a 73 on Sunday. It was a little bit slow out of the blocks. I thought there were two really bad putts that he missed early, Greg, that were immediately right off the face. And then he saw one go in at 5, and I think that started to change the tides for him. Struggled a little bit with distance control and the driver a bit, but was very, very gritty throughout a day that was, eating everybody alive.
The putts were on 2 and 3. Where he missed a 6-footer at 2 and a 4-footer. He 3-putted number 3, but the second one was a 4-footer. And then you saw, like we talked about, are the rights going to be a problem for Viktor? Missed right at 8. That was not a very good tee shot into that bunker, some 40 yards shy of the green. And then he missed it to the right again on 9, although that was a better tee shot. That led to a bogey. Also a short miss putt. So those were kind of, they happen. I would say all 4 of them together, they look like unforced errors. But, you make 2 of those and you're in a really good position. 2 of those putts that are inside of 6 feet, just go 2 for 4 there and you're in a really good position. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but he really held in there strong, made a nice birdie at 17. If it weren't for 15, he goes into 17 at 2 over and he feels like he has a chance. Ultimately, it still would have come up short, but he really feels like he has a chance. 15 is just it was just a brutal hole. Everybody was making a box there.
Yeah, and it was actually I didn't even look what the final score. Final scoring average was 3.2 over par. So Viktor shooting so just better than the field average for the day, but it was okay. Like I said, didn't make anything. He hit a couple of solid shots. He kind of hit a couple too good and just didn't have the right distance on them. I don't know. At what point? How far away are we from saying like he has to win one of these? It's too long.
Well, a major,
yeah.
The strange thing about Viktor is that he goes into these holes where he's just working on like his game, and it's almost like that pauses the clock. In my mind, it's like, well, all right. Well, if Viktor won the FedEx Cup in what year did he win that? 2022, 23.
Yeah,
he wins it in 23. If he stays on that same path and plays, in that neighborhood and isn't winning majors, it's a totally different story. But the guy was like completely lost. The fact that he can step up like he did at the PGA last year, like he did this year, gives me hope that he can. And when he gets his game together, that he will. Because I still don't think this is Viktor's A game. And here he is finishing 3rd place at the U.S. Open. There's a lot of upside there. I'm very optimistic about Viktor's game. It feels like he believes in the direction now. And the win at the Valspar probably had a lot to do with that.
So Paul in the chat says 30 major championships is the point in which you start saying that. I kind of agree. I used to think it was 20, and then I was like, that's not enough. So Viktor's at 23. He's played 23, including this week. The good news is they're not like complete. He has a lot of really good finishes. They're not just complete whiffs. So he has 5 top 10s. He has 4 top 5s, and then 3 podium finishes, obviously without the victory. And in the last 4, 8, 11 major, actually in his last, I'm all screwed up because they changed when they moved. Okay. So in his last 12 majors, all of his top 10s are in there. So really he didn't have a top 10 in his first, 2, 4, 8, 11.
It's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. I think it's a lot more positive than negative. And I don't feel rushed personally. Like he has to win one.
Oh, I thought you personally just didn't feel rushed. It's like, I'm feeling all right about it.
Take your time. No, I'm sure he feels more rushed than I am, but I feel like he's on a really nice trend. I do feel like what he did after 2023 was like irrational. He was the best player in the world, and he just changed everything.
He burned it down.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but to his credit, he's built it back up in it looks to be a really strong way. So I like where he's at.
I like where he's at too. The other guy who, as I'm trying to figure out the math on like 11 different golfers who are all going in the wrong direction and what number is going to be good enough to win this, Tyrrell Hatton presented himself to the championship, and he went 68-72 on the weekend, and he was even par for Sunday's final round through 13, Greg, 2 birdies and 2 bogeys. He made a couple of bad maybe decisions or swings late and bogeyed both 17 and 18. We now know it wasn't going to be good enough in either direction, but Hatton has not had a particularly good run on Live Golf this year. It's just been okay, and this is obviously a very good result for him.
A very good result. He was 4th and approached the green for the week. He gained strokes in every category. He was pretty good all the way around. Really, really impressive. Really impressive player. And I think he might have take JJ Spaun out of it. He had one of the best shots of the tournament today at number 4. That had to be a 3-wood from 280, covered the bunker and landed like a 9-iron. That shot was ridiculous. He hit it to 9 feet from 280 and it carried all the way there. It was ridiculously good. I thought his attitude was really good this week. You get there's always the chatting, but it didn't feel like he was being hard on himself. It's almost like his attitude gets better when the golf course gets like this. Very impressive, and he's very live for upcoming major championships.
The big beneficiary of not only an under par round, but the timing of it was Jon Rahm. He ended up finishing in a tie for 7th at 4 over. That's the same spot Scottie Scheffler finished. They kind of did it in different directions, but neither of these guys were ever in contention to win the US Open, Greg, but both of them are going to get yellow wiki boxes for the week.
Yep. And Jon Rahm and Scottie Scheffler both leave feeling like they should have won the US Open. While they were never really in contention, they should have been in contention the whole way. We talked a lot about Rahm's ball striking prowess, which was incredible this week. Even today, you look at the stat sheet in the 67 and he gains 2 strokes putting, but he made a bomb on 16 that gained him more than 1 shot putting. So it's like he just got nothing to fall. But hit it as well as anybody did this week. In fact, he was 4th tee to green. It looked better than that from my vantage point, but it was still pretty darn good. Scottie, on the other hand, didn't hit it very well, and still should have won by 4. I mean, do you want to go over some of these unforced errors?
Please.
I'll give you some of the stats here.
Okay.
7 official 3 putts. Okay. He had at least 2 additional that were from just off the green where he putted. Well, I mean, one of them was a 4 putt. So that's an official 3 putt, but he putted before the 3 putt.
Right.
on 17. So 7 3 putts. He had 8 misses inside of 7 feet, 6 misses inside of 5 feet. One of them was 5 feet exactly. 2 misses inside of 3 feet. Both of those were 2.5 feet.
Oh, God.
On Sunday's round, he had 5 looks for birdie inside of 15 feet. All went begging. The closest was 8 feet. So at 2, 14 feet, 7 inches. 7, 11 feet, 7 inches. 9, 13 feet, 1 inch. 10, 13 feet, 2 inches. 11, 8 feet, 8 inches. All just today. Every round in this tournament, there are at least 2 unforced errors, right? I'm not talking about, he hit it left into the ditch on 9, or he hit it into the right rough on 18 and had to hack out. Like, that happened to everybody. It happened to Scotty more than I expected. But it's these unforced errors that cost him this tournament. As poorly as he hit it, he still should have won. He finishes 5 back and has 7 3 putts. That's a killer. Just a killer. Finishes 5 back, 6 misses inside of 5 feet. It's not too much to ask, Rick.
I know we sound like a broken record here. For people who tune into this show every day, first off, thank you. Second off, we say the same thing. Scotty Scheffler should have either won by 4 or should have won by 4. Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Let me play DA. Couldn't we just say this stuff about anybody? Or was that were 7 3 putts and 2 more with just off the, like, is that worse than what, I don't know, Cam Young did?
Well, let's look at the stats. There were 3 guys with 1 3 putt.
Who?
Sam Burns.
Nice.
Cam Davis, Ryan Fox. So your point, I haven't really looked at this, so you could be valid here. Guys with 2 3 putts. Justin Hastings, Russell Henley, Denny McCarthy, Andrew Novak, John Rahm, Patrick Reed, JJ Spaun, Matt Wallace. Okay, so 11 guys had 2 3 putts or fewer. Guys with 3 3 putts, quite a long list.
How about guys with 7 3 putts?
Okay.
Is he the only one?
Guys with 7 3 putts. Dietrich, Morikawa.
Wow. Okay.
Rasmus Niergaard Peterson.
Okay.
Aaron Rye, Scotty. 2 guys with 8 3 putts. Tony Finau, James Nicklaus.
Okay. Well, first off, so it does play because Scotty finished significantly better on the leaderboard than all of those guys. And
he's the only guy in the top 10 with 7 or more 3 putts.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it does track, but because that's what people like to say, right? It's like, oh, well, you could say that about anybody. Left 3 strokes out there every day. It's like, yeah, I know he did, but it is actually kind of true.
When I see the 2.5 foot putt misses, it's like not a lot to ask for the best player in the world to be perfect inside of 3 feet. Right? It's not that much to ask.
It's really not. It's really not.
Now you start getting into the 6 footers or like the birdie looks I mentioned today. I'm not saying that he should have made all of those, but there was a point. You make 2 of those, make the one on 2, make the one on 7, and the complexion of the tournament changes entirely. And the momentum just changes entirely. You go to the round 2 on 17, he 4 putts for bogey. That should have been a birdie. It's a massive difference in where he goes into the weekend. right? It just makes a huge difference in momentum. So he never was able to get it going because of unforced errors. And it's some of the worst putting in the field.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we dug into that because I think it was worth it. I have our bets that we can recap. You stayed hot, which is awesome. But is there anything else that you want to talk about from this United States Open?
The bets. Well, one more shout out. Ben Griffin.
Oh,
shout out to Ben Griffin.
Okay.
Talk about staying hot.
Three things that I loved. 4 things that I loved. JJ Spaun having to be in the heat after the opening 66 and pulling it off. I love that. I love the way that he had all those bounce backs yesterday. That's number 2. I love the way that Sam Burns played after the dismal Thursday finish. And I love the way Ben Griffin bounced back today after finishing bogey, 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 birdie, double to finish his round yesterday. So now Ben Griffin, who is basically the hottest man outside of Scottie Scheffler on planet Earth, has a T8 at the PGA Championship, a T10 at the US Open, and this man is sniffing himself, and he should be. He is puffed out. He's probably sleeps in his aviators, probably showers in them. He is just feeling. Ben Griffin is not his name. It's his persona. He is a vibe, and it rolls on.
He does it at the Memorial, the majors, like you mentioned. And don't forget why he didn't play in the Masters. He didn't get in. He was the last man out. Last man out. And there's no woe is me. He gets right back up on the horse, plays every week, no matter what the conditions are. Like, there's no more court. Ben Griffin was like a fantasy darling kind of guy. You know, Canadian Open's perfect for him kind of thing. 3M Open. I love Ben Griffin. Not anymore. This is top tier. Any week is a go. That's how he's playing right now. And he may have, well, he definitely put his name in the hat for that Ryder Cup bid in a big way this week.
The Ryder Cup team might look pretty interesting come September. Geez, Keegan might be playing on his own team, might have JJ Spaun, might have Ben. I'm sure I asked this last year. When's the last time a guy won a major and didn't make the team? Doesn't happen often, right?
No. Nope. I think you got to go back to like 2004 Todd Hamilton kind of time frame.
Yeah. We've looked into this in the last couple of years because we asked the question about Brian Harman, I think. Probably asked it about Wyndham Clark. I don't remember, but we've talked about this before.
Yeah. I think Wyndham made it on points. Brian Harman, he might have made it on points too.
Yeah, because the point system is highly rigged towards money.
Yeah.
And majors are worth a lot of money.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely based on money.
Yeah.
It's actually based on FedEx Cup points. Same deal. Highly skewed towards majors.
Yes, exactly. And high finishes at majors. The bets. I believe we have the grid. Look at you and your ability to stay hot. Scottie Scheffler does not get the job done. However, Cam Young, top 30. You didn't even give him enough credit. It was a T4. And then Xander over Colin Morikawa. Not really much of a sweat there. Actually, I don't know. I felt like Xander had him all week. Either way, 2 check marks for you, my friend.
Colin had him after round 1.
Yeah.
Xander shot 72-74. Colin shot 70-74. And then Colin shot 74-70. Xander 71-69. So it was tight through the first 2 days, and then Xander pulled away, which was huge. Cam Young, I wish I gave him more credit. Wish I put him in that winner without situation. Get a little spicy. But this is why I dug in so deep on Scottie and said he should have won, because he's on my card again.
Dude, I had a lineup on Splash Sports that was very, very good, and it was basically reliant on Jordan Spieth, and I have not been that locked into a Jordan Spieth weekend in a long time. Like, where I watched Jordan Spieth obviously, but not where I'm rooting for him and like needing him, and it's better than cocaine. It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
He played pretty good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a T23 in the end, and he finishes at 8 over. But his golf game is like I leave this week with Jordan feeling, and I'm not anywhere near the high you are apparently, but I do feel like he's kind of live in majors again.
Well, when he lives and dies with every swing, that transfers to you living and dying with every swing, and like. Yeah. I'm trying to like in between shots. I'm like, okay, remember to breathe because I'm holding my breath constantly. The guy is a maniac. He's a total maniac.
And he drew some terrible lies.
Yeah, but you always also kind of think he might pull this off.
Before this week, this is the kind of course I would say no way for Jordan Spieth because it doesn't let you recover. Like Augusta National is. You have a shot. You can recover. Like Rory played from the trees all week and won. Jordan can do that. You can't do that at Oakmont. Clearly, it's strange, but in a strange way, everybody struggled with it so much. It almost became a putting contest.
I had Ludwig over Justin Thomas. They both missed the cut, but Ludwig, beat him on the score after shooting like a 78 on Friday. I had Brooks Koepka to miss the cut, and boy, the live guys were giving me hell on Thursday evening when he was like in it. He didn't play that well the rest of the 3 days, but they were just in my menchies all Thursday.
I'm sure. It wasn't all that bad. It wasn't all that great either.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
68, 74, 73, 71. T12 for Brooks.
Yeah, that was fine. Actually, he played pretty well on Sunday. And another guy that when you sweat him and he hits those hellacious seeds that have zero curve and never stop going up. And like, I'm like, oh God, that's tough. Why am I betting against this guy?
Yeah. This guy's not going to miss the cut.
How does he not have 10 majors at this point?
If I had to put a miscut in there, I would have done Rory to miss the cut. And when Rory hit the tee shot, Rory hit on 18 on Friday. I was feeling kind of like that, like you were. Like, this guy's not going to miss a cut. Look at that tee shot.
How does he ever miss a cut? Yeah,
incredible.
Next week, Greg, is a very special week. It is not only a signature event. It's not only in your neck of the woods, but it's also at TPC River Highlands, where we went scorched earth earlier this year.
Yes, we have seen plenty of birdies. That's what you're going to need to do at TPC River Highlands this week. We played, of course, the Travelers Media Day Shamble together. We got clipped in a shocking turn of events.
Suspect. I think the investigation is still open.
Yeah, maybe that comes up this week on the broadcast. Keep your eye out for it. But signature event. It's going to be a totally different feel than what we had this week. And I think the players will welcome that.
I'm sure we'll talk about this on Tuesday, but I usually do not care at all about the major championship hangover. These guys got their butts kicked this week.
Yeah.
Long rounds, rain, just like a slog. You think there's any effect going into Cromwell next week?
I think he can have an effect. Guys are fatigued, but they show time and time again, like they know how to handle travel. They know how to handle these kind of situations, and they come to a course that lets you play a lot more. So there's a relief factor. And if they went home, they'd probably play golf anyway. So, I think there's some guys, yes, some guys, no. We'll get into it. But
give me Sepp Straka, who's had the weekend off, just gets to go to Connecticut and just
he's perfect for it.
Just give me that right now.
Yeah.
All right, Gregors. Well, listen, excellent week. We went all round by round recaps. We are going to be back on Tuesday of next week, and then Friday and Sunday for Travelers Championship recaps. Only one major championship left. We're going to enjoy it. A couple weeks away from the Open. Big thanks to producer Mina. She does all the hard work behind the scenes. That right there. It's Greg DuCharme. I'm Rick Gehman. This has been The Second Cut. We'll catch you next time.